environmental destruction and international crime. Joining us, Phillipe Saenz. He's a lawyer at the Matrix Chambers in London. He's also co-chair of the expert panel that's drafting the legal definition of ecocide. Phillipe, how long could it take for ecocide to be ratified into international law?
How long would it take? Because it doesn't exist yet, and that's going to be the issue. But I think with a bit of luck, we could get it up and running in 3 to 4 years, which would be pretty quick. Not as quick as the folks in 1945 who got genocide and crimes against humanity from an idea into a statute in a matter of weeks or months. It was incredibly quick, but I think it's possible to do it pretty quickly. You know, with all of these things, it's about political will. I was just listening to your introduction now to tomorrow's program, which of course I'm speaking to you from London, England, and we are utterly fascinated by this story. And we watched the interview last night, and it was broadcast a day later with great interest. But you talked about a 19th century institution. That's a bit what international law is like. You know, it existed since the 18th, 19th century. It's been created, and it was intended to deal with one set of problems. And then along comes the environment, which doesn't fit neatly into our old precepts. And the question, rather like the British monarchy for international law, is it fit for purpose? Can it be retooled to deal with our modern age? And that's, in a sense, what our little working group has got the challenge of doing, and what you'll be talking about tomorrow in relation to the British monarchy. There are parallel issues here.
We got this question from Ren, who asks, how can we ensure the economic success of nations impacted by this new rule? How can we tell nations like Brazil that they must leave their own land undeveloped? Is this something you're working through?
Yes, another very fine question, because another way of looking at this is that you could treat the whole exercise to move towards sort of environmental regulation and the idea of ecocide as another sort of form of imperialism or colonialism, in which the rich countries seek to impose on the poorer countries standards that they did not have to apply at their own stage of economic development. So Britain, France, Germany, the United States, went through the industrial processes and polluted willy-nilly whatever they wanted to do. And now we're realizing we're in this together. And I think what it means necessarily is that if we're going to impose these kinds of things on the newly emerging economic powers, we ourselves are going to have to make sacrifices. And that's a tough call, because that's going to mean redistributions, it's going to mean restraints on what we do, and it's probably going to mean moving away from a throwaway kind of society in which we're just used to